Greetings, Minecrafters. Welcome to another Minecraft episode. My name is Kimberly Quinn, and I'm pretty excited today. Yoo-hoo! As pretty much every day. I tell you, I have a few down moments once in a while, but not that much because I work hard at kind of shifting out of those, right? And I absolutely love doing these podcasts, so this is fun for me too. So thank you all for listening. Today, I'd like to talk about making a commitment to a fresh start. Yay. It's still January, so that's also feeling very New Year's Eve. January is a long month, at least in northern Vermont. It just is. I don't know, it's weird. Maybe because it's the light situation at night, or I'm not sure. Anyway, make the commitment for a fresh start. And my inspiration today is coming from Richard Carlson, PhD, who's the author of the "Don't Sweat the Small Stuff" books, and there are like not a gazillion technically. I don't know. There's a lot of them. I own at least three or four of them, and this one is the one. Don't sweat the small stuff in love. And so we're going to talk about making a fresh start today, though it doesn't necessarily have to be a partner. So if you're partnerless, well, I mean, you can always hang up on me, I suppose, but we're not talking about that. He is, but we're going to expand past that into making a fresh start with any relationship. It doesn't have to be romantic necessarily. And if you can kind of have this, filter in general, I think it's a really healthy one that can only go places good. I like Richard too. I Somebody else I'd also like to have lunch with because I think he's just very positive. He's very upbeat, and he's my people just for that reason right there. And he talks about how it doesn't matter if you've just met or fallen in love or whether you've been together forever. He says it can be enormously helpful to make a fresh start commitment. Doing so is a relationship version of clean the slate and making today instead of yesterday or tomorrow the most important day of your life together. And there's a lot of wisdom there, right? Because I think if we had that attitude in general, just with the relationship with ourself, that's really good advice. So this sort of new commitment about sort of choosing to make a fresh start with your partner, again, new partner you've been with forever, sibling, best friend, whatever. That it's largely about letting it go, letting lots of stuff go. And like currently, I'm a fabulous 58, and my husband and I were talking about this in the car going or coming from somewhere. I don't remember where it was, but when you've been fortunate enough to make it to a fabulous 58, and my husband's almost a fabulous 57. Guess we call that robbing the cradle, right? When you've still got, so many friends in your life from so long, and we know lots of good people, and we know really, really, really good people, some of the best people I think God ever created, quite honestly. And still, obviously, you're human beings thrown together. You can have a moment where you may not agree, or you may be disappointed, or you may, whatever like that. You don't get to be this age and have all these wonderful people in your life if you don't learn to let a lot of stuff go, and on their end too, because we're just as imperfect, right? So it's actually a skill, and I think a lot of I'm a big fan of skills versus talent. Talent's cool too. We don't want to throw out the Einsteins and Mozarts and Simone's an Olympic gymnast there. We don't want to, all that talent. And who else am I thinking of? Nadia Comaneci from way back in the day, and incredibly just to Michael Phelps, just to watch these people be so talented. Never mind all the musical little geniuses. I forget the kid's name. I was just thinking of. I used him in my Minecraft class. The little video. I don't think he was 6, and he was this brilliant little pianist, unbelievable. So anyway, that's all cool. And that's all good, and we don't want to say that skill's not involved also, because obviously anybody who makes it that far, whether it's athletics or music or, different kind of art or something that's, whatever. There's obviously a lot of diligent practice and skill too, but skills separate from talents, I like because we can just learn it. We can decide, I would like to be better at letting things go. And we can choose to commit to it, practice it, and do it, and become really much better at it, letting a lot of petty stuff go. We can also focus on somebody who's already a little better at it whether they're aware we're focusing on them or not doesn't make a difference, because then they're like, we if we have a visual and we can kind of emulate getting better at it, and that certainly helps me in general. So we are talking about, letting go of issues, right? Regrets and disappointments and certainly guilt and shame and blaming and all this stuff, as well as Richard says, also as well as expectations about the future. Imagine if we just go on that date with our person of 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years, or I'm married to my beloved and soulmate for 30 something years, and we still go on dates, right? It's fun. In fact, we're recent empty nesters. It's been almost a week now, or maybe about a week. I don't like that part though. I kind of like having everybody. my my wonderful husband and I fantasize about building a compound with this houses all in, like, all here. And anyway, this is because I miss them so much. But talking about dropping expectations is good. And that is one benefit, because I've said this before, of growing up in an alcoholic family, is you don't have a lot of expectations. So that's one nice thing there, because when we do have expectations, that sets us up for disappointments, whereas if we don't have the expectations, it's just, half full. Like, yay, this came through, that came through, that. Obviously there are moments, I think, to have expectations, but not nearly as much as we automatically put out there. We just need to really to lower that whole bar. Usually, obviously, the polarized words of always and never don't exist in reality. So most of the time, if we can let go of expectations, it's just a happier life. So when Richard talks about, allowing today to become like the focal point of our relationship. There's no past, there's no future, we're just staying right here in the right now, very mindfully. And also to stop comparing, dates or days that we've had, or in some cases years, if you've been, together with someone for a long time. And even just to step out of your hopes for tomorrow. We're talking about being present in this moment right now. And not just present, but I mean fully present. So, and then Richard suggests that we ask this question: how can I make today the best day it can possibly be? Now, here's a relationship thing. Again, this would work with ourselves, our relationship with ourselves, right? We're on the way into work. How can I make this day the best it can possibly be? And then he says the answer to this simple question becomes the key to a heartfelt and loving connection. I also think it's easier to do all this, let go of the past and, all the thoughts attached to that, and let go of the future and all that thoughts attached to that, when we're only doing it for a day. Excuse me. I think just like the 12-step program, one day at a time, I think most of us can handle even the worst things that happen if we just focus on this one day. So we kind of pull it all together, it seems totally overwhelming, right? So if we think of, okay, just for today, if I want to go back to ruminating about all the woulda, coulda, shouldas of the past, regrets of the past, if I want to get into all the what if thinking about the future and all my fears about what might happen, what might come to be, all the catastrophizing, when we tell ourselves, let's just say I only have this one day with my partner, who knows if it's our last, all that's going to be waiting for you tomorrow, as far as the ruminating and the what if thinking, the catastrophizing. So when we tell ourselves that, give ourselves permission, today's this wonderful date. We're going on a walk, we're going to the beach, we're going out to lunch or whatever. We're going to stay home with just us and have a nice have a fireplace, cozy experience and hot chocolate or whatever. If we kind of make a date with the brain that we'll do all that, we have the option to do all that tomorrow, it does make it that much easier. And by shifting out of the thoughts of the past and the everything about whatever's going on in the future, and we're talking about acknowledging the gift of today, right? And so for the specifically for those the newer partners, people newly dating and newly in love and all that, Richard brings up that sometimes each time you get to, I remember this, each time you get together is going to be just like the last time, and you're going to feel that magic is supposed to remain, which I don't know. He said this tendency is very difficult because it's human nature to want that, right? And I'm gonna just jump in there, since I've been married for like a bazillion years. It's for me at least, it's not that the magic didn't go away. It just looks different. it is absolutely magical. Now that my husband and I are newly empty nesters and I miss all the Fab Five so much, it's wild because, now we're together, just us again, and the magic is absolutely there. It just looks different. It's different than the kissy lovey-dovey smoochy electric, dates when you first started, but it's still there. I just wanted to say that. And I do get how you want it all to stay the same. It's human nature to want things to, it's human nature to want to hang on to what feels good. I guess that's what I'm saying. And Richard kind of, I think, taps into that. I mean, I want to say honeymoon period. I don't mean the actual honeymoon itself, just that earlier zip, 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 zip electric time. And when we treat each other like gods and goddesses. And Richard said, who wouldn't want to be treated like that? I mean, of course. But yet, that said, one of the sort of laws of relationships is that change is constant. I mean, life, as they say, the only constant is change, right? And so he talks about that. Like, who wouldn't want to be treated like a and worshipped, and to have rose petals dropped at our feet and all that. And the fact that nothing stays the same, but kind of like I was just saying, being an empty nester, just because it's not the same doesn't mean it isn't great, right? And Richard says this doesn't mean your love and respect for one another won't become, deeper and richer and even more satisfying. So the truth. And if you're listening, you don't have a partner, but you have, a best friend you're thinking of, or a sibling, or, a colleague who's also a friend at your work or something, you can just transfer this into working for you in that way. So you just doesn't we don't have you can kind of discard the lovey-dovey newlywed stuff or newly dating stuff and just focus on the cherishing piece, because that's really what we're talking about. We're talking about cherish, and that is a word I love because it's better than like, and it definitely involves gratitude, and it involves mindfulness because you're being in the moment, and to cherish your best friend like this is the last day you have together. We don't want to be like morose, right? Just think of there's no yesterday, there's no tomorrow. This is what we've got, and bring success to this day, bring success to everything you do in this day with this person. Uh, Richard sort of winds up. He says the nice thing about this strategy, and again, this can be just with us, with your own self. This is a good tip just for your everyday, right? The nice thing about the strategy is that it's easy and it really works. Of course, it works because we're controlling our thoughts. That's sort of the foundation of Minecraft right there, because we are controlling what we're allowing in and out. Let go of all the crap from the past, get rid of the junk, stay away from the expectations, and be in and out, right? And he says the present moments of your life are special and powerful. By immersing yourself in them, you give yourself to the capacity to make every day the best day of your life. There we go. There you have it. Awesome. So commit to a fresh start today. This is Kimberly Quinn signing off from the blustery northern Vermont. Have a mindful day.